Today, we're going to unpack the real science of attraction. We're going to move way past the usual advice and explore the biology that explains why that instant spark happens, and, more importantly, how you can find it without changing who you are at all.
This is the big question, isn't it? We're always told that attractiveness is this objective thing, like some people are just a universal 10. But, real life tells a totally different story. The exact same person can be seen as unbelievably attractive by one person and get completely ignored by someone else. So that whole idea of a fixed score just doesn't hold up.
So here's the huge shift in thinking you have to make. Attraction is not some number stamped on your forehead. It's a dynamic thing, a whole spectrum of response that completely depends on who's looking. Who you are doesn't change. It's how people react to you that's all over the map. And understanding that variation, well, that's the whole key. To really explain this, we're actually going to borrow a concept from a completely different field. Medicine, actually. It's called the Hyperresponder Principle, and once you get it, it totally unlocks this whole paradox of attraction. So in its original context, a hyperresponder is just someone who has an unusually strong reaction to, say, a drug. A normal dose that's pretty mild for most people might be incredibly powerful for them. It's all about individual variability to the exact same input.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, because this exact same principle applies one-to-one to human attraction. Think about it. You are the stimulus, and certain people out there are biological and psychological hyper-responders to you. They're not just a little interested, they're completely captivated in a way that others just aren't.
To really let this sink in, let's look at how this plays out every single day. Because this isn't some abstract theory in a lab. It's a fundamental rule of biology, and the examples are probably going to surprise you. I mean, think about it. You know that one friend who gets totally wired from a single cup of coffee, right? Meanwhile, other people can drink an espresso right before bed and sleep like a baby. Or with medicine like codeine, the effect can be life-changing for one person and do almost nothing for another. But the most powerful example, that comes from the world of fitness. Oh, this is such a classic scenario. You and a friend decide you're going to get in shape. You follow the same diet, the same workout plan, down to the last detail. A few months go by, and they look like a completely different person. Meanwhile, your results are fine, but nothing like theirs. It's not about who worked harder. It's about response. Your friend is a hyper-responder to that specific training plan. And this isn't just a story. It's hard science. Get this. One study put a big group of people on the exact same strength training program. The results were just staggering. Some people actually lost muscle mass, others gained almost 60%. And strength gains? They ranged from 0 all the way up to 250%. Same work, wildly different results. That is the hyperresponder principle right there in black and white. So, once you see this biological reality, the question is just unavoidable, right? What if attraction works on the very same principle? What if your unique set of traits, your sense of humor, your ambition, your specific look is the workout, and you're just looking for the person who is a genetic hyper-responder to it? Okay, so how do you turn this into a real strategy? I mean, understanding the principle is one thing, but applying it is what really matters. And it's not about changing who you are. It's about finding where you shine. The strategy that comes out of this is actually beautifully simple. First, you got to be really honest with yourself about your own unique strengths. What makes you, you? Is it your wit, your kindness, your crazy ambition? Second, you put yourself in places where those specific traits are the star of the show. And finally, you just focus your time and your energy on the people who show that strong, obvious response to you.
Here's a perfect example. A loud nightclub is an environment that pretty much only rewards a few things: purely visual traits, status symbols, and physical presence. The music's way too loud to have a real conversation, but a quiet terrace at a wine bar, that environment values a completely different set of strengths: charisma, humor, the ability to tell a great story. The same person could be a ghost in one setting and the most interesting person in the room in the other. It's all about matching your strengths to the stage.
And this right here is the most empowering part of this whole idea. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's not about forcing yourself to be the nightclub person if you're really the quiet terrace person. It's about being strategic. The goal is to get out of your usual little bubble. You know, if you only ever hang out with the same few people from work or your immediate friend group, you might never ever meet someone who is a hyper responder to you. You have to broaden the search, go to different places, meet different kinds of people, just to increase the odds of finding that incredible connection. But wait, there's one more layer to this whole thing. It's a hidden factor that often feels like pure magic, but it's actually rooted in some of the oldest parts of our biology. Let's talk about chemistry. So researchers who study things like speed dating have kind of broken down attraction into three main parts. First, there's universal appeal, the traits that most people would agree are attractive. The second is personal preference, an individual-specific type. But then there's this third factor, the one that explains those unpredictable electric connections. We call it chemistry. That spark, that completely illogical pull you feel for someone that just defies explanation. It's not about their looks or their personality, it's something deeper, something primal. Incredibly, science might actually have an explanation for this. It seems to come down to a set of genes called the major histocompatibility complex, or MHC for short. Now, these genes are part of your immune system, and they help create your unique, totally undetectable scent signature. The evolutionary idea here is it's mind-blowing. Studies suggest that we are subconsciously drawn to the scent of people whose MHC profile is different from our own. And why? Well, the theory is that partnering up with someone who has a complementary immune system could give any future kids a more diverse, more robust defense against diseases. We are literally sniffing out genetic compatibility without even knowing it. This chemical match can be so powerful that it just overrides all your other preferences. It totally explains why you might find yourself intensely attracted to someone who isn't your usual type at all. It's that biological hyperresponse that feels like it just came out of nowhere. It's the science behind the magic. So let's put it all together. The ultimate connection, that unforgettable spark, it happens when you find someone who isn't just a responder, but a hyperresponder on every single level. They react strongly to how you look, they're captivated by your personality, and on a deep biological level, your very chemistry is a perfect match. So the final takeaway, the big idea, is this. Reframe your entire approach. The goal is not to be a 7 out of 10 to everyone you meet. The goal is to find the person to whom you are a 10 out of 10. Stop wasting your energy trying to win over the non-responders and start your search for the hyper-responders. Because you don't need the whole world to like you. You just need to find the few people to whom you will be absolutely, undeniably unforgettable.